out of it.
You ratted us out.
Hey, don't use that word that way.
I mean, it's 2023. Hey, guys, if we weren't monsters that were shunned by society and we could do what we wanted, what would you guys do?
This is insane. Turn out a giant rat. That makes me feel like he's a rat. Kills everyone who does.
Whoa. Chick.
Whoa. Chick. I can't believe there are other mutants.
Peoples, they got to go.
Okay, sort of a twist.
6 in the morning, police at my door.
Greetings to everybody. Your visit to the Caption Media channel is very appreciated. In this video I want to talk about the recently released film Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I'll simply give you the review without giving away any surprises. Let's begin. On a reported budget of $13.5 million, the original film turned in over $200 million at the worldwide box office and cemented the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a film franchise. 5 more theatrical releases eventually followed, bringing the total box office to more than $1.14 million. In the realm of theatrical animation, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is another chic, polished offering. Mutant Mayhem is a fantastic family movie with stunning visuals and likeable characters that more than lives up to its name by providing audiences of all ages with non-stop mutant animal action. The screenplay, which Jeff Rowe co-wrote with Dan Hernandez, Benjamin Sammet, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, was directed by Rowe and Kyler Spears. The media has paid a lot of attention to Mutant Mayhem's animation style first and foremost. The 2D shaded drawing aesthetic of films like Puss in Boots, The Last Wish and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse has been compared to it. What comparisons may be made between the animation and these stellar examples? The 3 had different animation styles, but I thought Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had the finest. In general, I'm not a big admirer of the look. For me, there is frequently too much going on. Since so much is going on at once in the Spider-Verse movies, it's generally difficult for me to watch them in a theatre without getting headaches and eye pain by the end. While I enjoyed the style of Puss in Boots and didn't have a similar experience there, the animation in that movie had a looser, almost dreamier aspect, unlike TMNT's. It was also a brilliant decision to cast real children as the voices of the 4 protagonists, giving the 4 virtually unheard of actors plenty of leeway to improvise, talk over one another, quarrel, and engage in light-hearted banter. The voice acting is excellent throughout the film, and Ice Cube gives a hilarious performance as the evil Superfly, a part that seemed to be designed specifically for him. Paul Rudd also voices the scene-stealing mutant stoner gecko Mondo. The mentor character, a mutant rat who practices kung fu, is reimagined as a first-generation immigrant father, with his turtle sons being the second-generation children who are better able to adapt to a hostile environment. Jackie Chan, who plays Master Splinter, is perhaps the best of all, transcending the slight sense of stunt casting with a genuinely warm and humorous twist. Animation aficionados will delight in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem from the very first frame. The camera pans around the 2-dimensional regions of the film, which are rendered in 3 dimensions by using thick crayon and chalk lines to create stunningly original 2-dimensional artwork. Brushstroke flashes in the form of whip pans are used to communicate. With frantic tangles of bright white lines, flickering lights are animated. And that's just in the opening scene. Throughout the film, the interplay between light and shadow in this animated world should make it a contender for Best Cinematography Awards. Mutant Mayhem includes the alternating colour lights of police cars, often made more visually exciting by movement during chases, multiple light sources producing multiple colours of light on any given street in New York City, and several iridescent plot-specific items like the bright green ooze that turn the titular turtles into mutants and the blue solution fired from special guns that can unmutate mutants. The initial scene alone contains all of this. The amazing lighting in this animated universe is just the beginning though. It's a feat I've never seen a 2D, 3D combined animated picture do, but the fur on mammals in the movie manages to seem both obviously hand-drawn and like something you could reach out and touch. There are a few brief instances of archived live-action video incorporated into the animated universe, primarily from martial arts how-to VHSs and kung fu films from the 1970s, frequently residing within a wider animated realm and sometimes with animation superimposed. In one scene, the turtles are daydreaming about starting high school, and their envisaged first day is depicted solely in 2 dimensions, giving the impression that the already fanciful and animated world of the movie was rotoscoped by kids. What makes this fodder for animation fans even more impressive is that in this world, made of many chaotic and overlapping lines, the scenes of action are incredibly clear. As a movie about ninjas, whether they be mutant turtle teenage ninjas or not, there's a requisite amount of hand-to-hand combat that Mutant Mayhem has to offer, and it more than delivers. The scenes of combat are exciting and creative, with several different mutant animals making use of their unique animal abilities. Every fight makes great use of the specific environment, which makes an already brilliant lateral tracking shot that cuts between each of the 4 turtle brothers and the environments they're fighting through even more wonderful. The music in the film keeps pace with and augments the delightfully overwhelming aesthetic experience. An unexpectedly phenomenal score from Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross brings their years as both industrial rock icons and Academy Award-winning score composers to bear on the film's sonic landscape. While the soundtrack full of hip-hop classics, some of which I was surprised could be played in a children's film, and can't help but sing-along pop songs, lends the New York of the film a sense of place and develops its characters through their relationships to the music. The movie's music complements and maintains a deliciously overpowering aesthetic experience. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross provide the film's outstanding score, bringing their years of... It is a touch tiresome that so much of the humour is reference-oriented, even though it is luckily not just nostalgic, backwards-pointing allusions for lovers of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle franchise. The gags throughout the movie mostly land nicely, with several full theatre laugh-out moments throughout. It's also the first time in a while that a voice performance in an animated movie has stood out, especially that of Ao Edebiria's April O'Neil and Ice Cube as the evil Superfly. The rather conventional plot, which ultimately gives way to an overly drawn-out, massively sized action ending that is never awful but doesn't need to be enormous and drawn out as it is what ultimately drags the movie back. Despite the story's well-known storyline rhythms, there are some significantly engaged themes that elevate it above other kid-friendly films with little to say. These include themes of social acceptance of various groups and the range of reactions to that lack of acceptance. I was definitely prepared to celebrate Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, as a dedicated fan who has simply been gorging on every new incarnation of turtle power like it was a hot slice of pizza since the 1980s. There's always a chance I'd simply have too high expectations because I've been waiting since the original Underground Comics publication for a truly definitive cinematic adaptation. It doesn't quite hit the narrative ambition of this summer's Spider-Verse movie, and the last act moves so speedily and messily that the fights can sometimes veer on incoherent. But these are forgivable quibbles. A well-worn lunchbox franchise has made one of the more lovable family films you're likely to see this year. Pass the pizza. Inventively animated, giddily funny, and a surprisingly authentic take on the outsider experience, it is virtually impossible not to be charmed by these reptilian bros. The closing act goes so quickly and haphazardly that the fights occasionally border on being incomprehensible. It doesn't quite reach the narrative ambition of this summer's Spider-Verse movie. These, however, are acceptable quibbles. One of the more endearing family flicks you're probably going to see this year comes from a well-worn lunchbox genre, Pizza is Welcome. It's nearly impossible to resist falling in love with these reptile bros because they're so inventively animated, hysterically humorous, and offer a surprisingly accurate perspective on what it's like to be an outsider. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is an excellent first instalment that will delight children while introducing the characters to a promising future. It is grosser and more bizarre than previous Turtle films, but that is exactly why it is fantastic. The new movie Mutant Mayhem is so much pleasure to look at in all its colourful, scribbly, disorderly splendour, even if the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV show was not known for its innovative animation. It's one of the best sometimes surprises. Their name's initial letter feels authentic at last. It only makes sense that Donatello, Michelangelo, Leonardo and Raphael should experience a revival after 7 films. Even though the stakes are incredibly high, filmmaker Jeff Rowe is able to extract a lot of humour from the movie's darkest scenes and give the supporting cast of villains credible real-world arcs that they develop over the course of the movie. I think the movie is basically okay. The Visual approach is appealing, and the script, which was written in part by Seth Rogen, is nothing special but nevertheless rather hilarious. The year's best film is not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. However, animation is limited in its ability to scale, and this film can distinguish out from other animated films because of its exceptional animation. The film does an incredible job of portraying kids struggling with social acceptance while also being hilarious and hugely entertaining. Mutant Mayhem, a mixed 2D and 3D animation visual masterpiece, is undoubtedly the most innovative and genuine New York version of the Turtles to date. The fact that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is genuinely a family movie is what makes the movie so enjoyable. Above all, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is thrilling in a manner that none of these characters' previous big screen projects have been. The movie is an action-packed visual treat that raises the bar for adult animated pictures of the greatest caliber. With gorgeous animation and compelling voice acting, Mutant Mayhem is an entertaining reboot of the Turtle universe that aims to make the heroes in a half-shell likeable once more. The influence of Turtles is still strong. These Turtles find a way to function for every generation somehow. This most recent iteration is cutting-edge, exciting and beautiful to look at. My opinion is that this New York-based cartoon is upbeat, anarchic, doesn't talk down to teenagers, looks amazing, has great music and shows April O'Neil in a way we've never seen her before. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is quite entertaining overall. It's an outstanding animated film that produces another thrilling moment, or may not have you exclaim cowabunga. The imagery and visual flair of Mutant Mayhem are distinctive and harken back to the franchise's independent underground comic roots. The final act was overcrowded even though Superfly made a fantastic antagonist. Although Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem isn't flawless, it comes as close as a children's action film based on a 40-year-old IP can. Animation aficionados, especially those who adored the Mitchells vs. Machines and Wolf Walkers earlier this decade, should definitely see it. This film is unquestionably the best animated film of the year. I rate this movie a 9 on a scale of 1 to 10 and I hope you enjoy it. Please leave a remark or a comment if you enjoyed seeing this comedy science fiction film. Subscribe and don't forget to press the bell button if you want more updates. I'll see you again shortly. Bye.
Everyone who does.
Oh.
No.
He's making a deal tonight under the Brooklyn Bridge. Can I shake?
What the? Y'all some little tortoises, huh?
I can't believe there are other mutants.
Peoples, they got to go.
Okay, sort of a twist.
My son, Michelangelo, you have heart. Donatello, you have wisdom. And Leonardo, honor.
Can I shake?